Sportsview London Boxing News from the capital city with former world champion Johnny Nelson. Johnny was just at the press conference to announce James DeGale fighting Joshua-Whyte in Quebec, Canada, going into the Lions Den on a voluntary defence. How do you view that fight?
I think James is, if you look at world champion, this is what world champion should do. And people, you know, they'll think they're blowing smoke up his rear end, but that's not the case. If you're a world champion, the job is you travel the world because you're supposed to be the best in the world and box everybody. Usually world champions, what they do is they get the first defence and they make it soft touch just to show you, look what I've done. What James has done. His first defence is in the Lions Den, as you say, against a former champion, against what could be a formidable champion, another southpaw. We last saw him on these shows against Carl Froch. So the Brits know who this guy is, the Brits know how good this guy is. So for James to pick this as his first defence, and the fights he's talking about, to me I think, rate that. That's what you should do. It's a great example to set for other champions. You know, and you see champions that have got the tag world champion. They don't actually believe they're the best in the world because they won't come off their own doorstep. And I think what James has done, he's showing his look. I believe I'm the best, and that's why I'm willing to travel. That's why I'm willing to box in Quebec. That's why I'm willing to box in Vegas. That's why I'm willing to go and fight for it in Boston. You know, this is what champions do. And you look at all the champions around the world and just think to yourself, you know, if you know your boxing, just think to yourself, how many of them actually believe they are the best in the world? Because being world champion, that's what it means. It means you're the best in the world. How many believe they're the best in the world? And what James is doing right now, I'm not saying he is the best in the world. What I'm saying is he believes in he's the best in the world, and he's showing that by travelling to Quebec.
You see, you followed James for probably as long as I have. You see a massive change in James's demeanour and his confidence coming forward now as a fighter. You see when he was boxing on small shows with injuries and stuff like that, and you look at him now.
We've seen this kid grow up in front of our very own eyes. His first professional fight, 21 years old, he got booed. We saw the topsy-turvy. His career was a bit of a roller coaster. He lost to George Groves. It must have shattered his confidence. He's had to grow up in front of our very own eyes. He's now 29 years old. We were talking round the back about George Groves, and he said actually if the shoe was on the other foot, I know George would actually rip the hell out of him. But actually, you know what? Get him to brush himself off. Get in the queue. The kid come back again. The kid can fight. You know, and he was very complimentary in a way, and he just seemed mature. And I thought, good on you. You know, and he didn't poo-poo the possibilities of domestic matchups, which are here available for him. He said, yeah, you know, I'd be very interested in him. You know, that's what champions do. I like that. He's like another one fighter that's like that is Lee Selby. He reminds me of that kind of fight. He'll fight everybody and anybody. But James wants these big fights and bring fight and he'll deal with it.
Do you think that's been lacking in our sport of late? You openly said there that how many world champions actually believe that, you know, they can. Yeah,
that is what's lacking.
I'll tell you what, I saw an old school quote, forgive me, by none other than Gennady Golovkin saying, I like old school, I like who is number one. Do you think that's been missing from our sport?
That's been missing from our sport. It's been missing from our sport, and all of a sudden it's about the fame, not the game. You know, and that's where the problem is. And if you can play the game right, you'll get the fame. And if you chase the fame, as soon as you come up against stiff opposition, you're going to get blown out of the water. The fighters should be prepared, not saying, I want to box at home, no. They should be prepared to take on the responsibility of a champion and do what James is doing, do what Selby's doing. You know, that's what they've got to do to get the respect worldwide. And that's why, you know, I think James is playing the game well. You know, and I think eventually, you know, as long as he keeps winning, as long as he can back up the boys, eventually this kid will get the credit he deserves.
Most definitely. Johnny, shifting subject slightly. Big fight December 12th, two heavyweights, Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. How do you see that going?
I think it's a great fight. I think domestic fight. I think Dillian Whyte, I actually like Dillian. I actually do like him. I know these two have got a little beef. I think Dillian's only mistake would be to judge Anthony on the fighter he boxed in the amateurs. You know, and you've got to understand, and it's very hard. I've been in this situation, it's very hard. If you've sparred with somebody or someone's in your gym and used to beat him up, or if you box someone as an amateur and you dealt with him easily, it's hard for you to show that respect. It's hard for you to show any fear for that fighter, because you think, I've dealt with you before, I'll deal with you again. Anthony Joshua is a completely different fighter than what he was. He's physically, mentally, emotionally matured. You know, and I think Gillian saw that in Anthony's last fight against Gary Cornish. I thought when he sort of stood there at ringside, he thought, wow, this kid's a lot better. I did it when I boxed a guy called Ian Bullock. He was a British title defence. Ian beat me as an amateur. So when it came to the pros, they thought it was a done deal. You know, and he brought the whole of his town, Bolsover or wherever he was from, to the fight. I knocked him out inside 2 or 3 rounds, 1 or 2 rounds, and he couldn't believe it because I was a different person. And that's the same with Anthony Joshua. I'm not saying it will be the same. What I'm saying is, Dylan's just got to make sure he just wipes the slate clean and looks at Anthony Joshua as somebody who doesn't know. Because that is the guy he's fighting. But I think it's going to be a good scrap. And let's be truthful. On the night Anthony boxed Gary Cornish, Dylan didn't look that good. He didn't look that good. But let's not judge him on that performance because he's betting that. So he didn't look that good. But please don't let that fool you, because I think when these two fight on the 12th, wow, one explosion.
One final question, Johnny. The boxing world licking their lips at the moment. The revelation that Eddie Hearn says Frampton-Quigg could be maybe 2 weeks away from being finalised. Another great fight. How would you see that fight now, Johnny?
Brilliant fight, and you know what? I'm a massive fan of both fighters, and I said, you know, I put my hand up and said I think Frampton is going to be the man, you know, to come out on top. I don't mind being wrong. I just rate Frampton, rate everything about him. I think, and listen, I saw Frampton at the boxing writers' dinner the other day, and Frampton, you know, said, "Is this fight going to happen? When's your next fight?" He said, "Hopefully Quigg." So he wants to fight. Quigg wants to fight. Eddie wants to fight. You know, most people want the fight, and they've wanted it for quite a while. You know, there's a little stumbling block, and I think most people know what that stumbling block is. You know, and unfortunately, it's the politics of this game that don't give the fans what they want. But now, eventually, there's a possibility of this fight coming in place. I think, you know, it's going to be another one. What a way to start the year if it does happen. And please, you know. Don't let this fight not slip away from us. Don't
Serious revenue, isn't it?
It's a great fight in itself, and either way, Quigg wins or Frampton wins, I just think the fans will be the ones that are the real winners.
Most definitely. Johnny Nelson, thank you for your time, sir. Much appreciated.